So these tiles that were in the bathroom are old peel and stick tiles. They were not very attractive, and the first year I was here, I painted them with these two shades of blue and the fleur-de-lis stencil. I thought I'd have a royal little bathroom going on. So to take them up, they don't all come up so easily, but a heat gun loosens up the glue enough so that I can get the little spatula underneath to lift them. And that part goes pretty well. I didn't have too much trouble getting the tiles off, as you'll see on this one, and they often come up in one piece. I think also because it was warm. I have a feeling if it was cold, the tiles would be more brittle and they might break more. I was watching several YouTube videos, how people remove these old tiles, and I ended up going with actually the first method that I came across, even though I went on to look at other methods, people using all kinds of products, but I ended up using Goof Off, I think it's called. And I had a small bottle of it, which did most of the floor. I had to borrow just a little bit from a neighbor. I only had, I think this is the last tile I could take up with my own little bottle, and to get the rest of them off, I had to borrow some from the neighbor. So here it is. This tile's almost all up. And then the bigger problem is what's left on the floor, because it's very sticky, it's very gummy. There's a lot of old glue left on the floor. So here I am sprinkling some of the, I don't know if it's Goof Off or, no, Goo Gone, I think Goo Gone is the one that I had. And then using a scraper, it only does so well, and it doesn't actually do that well overall. So I use the scraper just to spread around the liquid and start getting the glue softened up a little bit. But it's just not effective. It would have been horrible if I'd had to do the whole floor using just this method here. So I tried a couple of things. I tried using very fine steel wool, and it was too fine. And I found that what worked really well was steel wool number 3. It gets the liquid in there with the adhesive and does fairly good at loosening up the adhesive, but it's still a major problem to get that adhesive off the floor. It just wants to stay on the floor. So now I have a bit of a liquid adhesive that still has a lot of tack to it, and I discovered a trick for getting this off the floor. I was watching one woman's video, and she was using WD-40. She wasn't using anything like this Goo Gone product, but she was using WD-40, and then she would follow that with the secret ingredient. And what is that secret ingredient? It is white baking flour. I would never have thought of this on my own, honestly, but it makes sense, after I thought about it. The flour absorbs the grease that's part of the product. It's a bit greasy. And it sort of forms like a pastry dough. And you can see it actually. You can see how it's starting to get the liquid and the glue soaked up into the flour, and it's doing a really nice job. And it also, the flour helps to remove the glue off the floor. It's a bit of a miracle. And I was really glad I found that video. So on most of the tiles I removed, I only had to do the process once. Lift the tile, steel wool number 3 with product, followed by flour, followed by a wash down with, I use Simple Green. It's a cleanser with degreaser. This particular tile, and there was a few, but this particular tile, I had to do a second pass. There was a few little areas that just didn't come up, so I had to redo them. So, not bad. I think it's probably about 6 or 7 minutes to get this tile off the floor and to get all that adhesive off, to leave a good surface for the new peel and stick tiles to adhere to. So it was great. It just was, it made everything so much better. It would have been an absolute nightmare of a mess trying to get this off just with the product in the scraper. It just wouldn't have gone anywhere. So here's a little bit of a Simple Green going on, and I could see there was a few little spots of adhesive left, so I took those off with another pass. So luckily this is not a big room. It's about 5 feet by almost 7 feet, and where the tub used to be, of course, there was no tiles, so I only had to take the tiles off from half the floor. I did it, I think it was like one afternoon to get most of it up, and then I was tired of it, so I did the rest of it the following day. I think after this I went and practiced the piano. I'm not fast at finishing up a room that has to be finished. It took me a couple of weeks to do the room, but it was fun. It was really fun to do it, at a pace that's not frantic and hectic, and being retired makes a big difference. So a little more Gougon, a little more flour. That's the recipe. The floor underneath, what's brown is that it was painted. This is brown paint underneath these tiles. I don't know how long it's been there. I imagine a long time. These tiles were not very attractive, which is why I painted them. They were gray. I'm putting in new tiles that are supposed to look like marble. And perhaps, 25 or 30 years down the line from now, somebody's going to think, oh, God, these tiles are so ugly. Who did that? With me. And there we go. Another tile up. All clean. I couldn't believe the results I'm getting this way.